There are 3 undefeated football teams in the Alliance of American Football, but only one is the most exciting in the league, and that would be your Orlando Apollos. For evidence, just check out the first 2 weeks of the season. Most recently, a come-from-behind win in San Antonio. Now, this Saturday night, the Apollos are back home, 8 o'clock against the Memphis Express, looking to go 3-0. Hello and welcome to Orlando Apollos Football Weekly on Real Radio 104.1. We are broadcasting from Sideshow Bar and Restaurant on Orange Avenue in downtown Orlando. I'm Jamie Seh. I'm here with my broadcast partner, Rene Ingoglia. And Rene, we had fun at that Apollos Commanders game on Sunday, didn't we?
Listen, I've called a ton of games. All season ESPN national college football games. That was one of the most fun I had calling a game. Coming back down by 12 2 different times in that game. Great team.
Chalk it up to 2-0 for the Apollos. We are so happy to be joined by the head coach of the Orlando Apollos, Steve Spurrier. Coach, congratulations on win number 2.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, just briefly looking back, Keith Reeser, our defensive back that picked it off with the game tied in the fourth quarter. Now, we had a lot of action after that. They moved the ball down, and we stopped at 4th and 3 at the goal line. And then we were able to run out over 3 minutes left in the clock. Did not have to throw a pass. So that was impressive for a team that we had about 12 or 15 yards rushing until that last drive, and we were able to do that. So it was fun. But anyway, I was telling Keith today, I've been fortunate to coach 270-something wins, and it's the first time a defensive score in the fourth quarter with the game tied that we won, and I was the coach. So that's the first one out of 277, by the way. So I said, you're the man. So we obviously gave him a game ball along with Garrett Gilbert and Charles Johnson, who's here tonight. Charles caught 7 passes for 192 yards. You ever heard of anything like that?
No, I pretty good game.
They converted 12 third downs.
Yeah.
We only converted 2.
Yeah.
But we only had 7. I mean, we were moving the ball sort of fast, this, that, and the other, and we messed up a lot now. We messed up down around the goal line. We had a chance for about 2 or 3 other touchdowns, and Elliott Fry kicked field goal, so he was real good and instrumental in the victory also.
You know, when a game is happening, transpiring as it did, how do your emotions on the sideline fluctuate, or because you're so experienced at this, you just kind of stay the course and have faith in your guys?
Well, obviously we were throwing the ball a little bit, maybe more than if we were ahead.
Yeah.
The game sort of dictates if you throw all the time or run and mix it up, whatever. But, we were behind by 12, and we just seemed to be hitting everything, and especially the balls down the field. So we just kept calling the pass plays. The protection was pretty good, and Garrett was finding his open receivers. But, you just keep playing the game, and something good can happen. It may, or sometimes it may not. But we didn't play our best game of the year. It was good in the fourth quarter, second half, and so forth. But hopefully we're going to play our best one here tomorrow night.
That's right.
And Coach,
Saturday night, I mean.
Yeah,
Coach, you touched on it, and I was so impressed. 4 yards rushing at halftime. That's what you guys had. Mm-hmm. When you got the ball at the end of the game there, I think they had all 3 timeouts, 2-minute warning, of course, because it's professional football, and you guys ran it down their throat. I think Dearness Johnson was phenomenal. The offensive line, up until that point, hadn't played great, but they got hats on them, moved them off the line, and I just was so impressed with getting those first downs on the ground when you had to seal that.
I tell you what, I've been on a lot of teams the last few years that couldn't run out the clock, and we ended up losing the game because of it up in South Carolina. But it was encouraging. Offensive line really blocked a lot of the fronts well. Sean Price was like our fullback in there, blocking those linebackers and this, that, and the other. And Dearness ran very well, as you said. Yeah, Dearness is probably going to start this week.
Okay.
He averaged, about 7 yards a carry, I think, when it was all said and done in San Antonio. So he's earned the right to be the starter right now.
Yeah, Dearness Johnson's a record holder at South Florida. He was a great South Florida Bull. What did Garrett show you? How much does your confidence continue to grow in your signal caller?
Yeah, Garrett threw the long ball very well. I think we just barely overthrew one of them, but we hit about all the rest of them, and we got a gracious interference call. I was telling somebody, remember Woody Hayes, he didn't like to throw the ball because he said 2 out of 3 things were bad.
Yeah.
You can complete, interception, or incomplete. But he forgot to mention
penalty.
There's also offensive interference.
Yeah.
And if you throw the ball 60 yards down the field and you get interference, that's a 60-yard gain. So that's the way they do it in the pros. College, it's a 15-yard penalty. But I'm telling you what, it just makes sense to throw it down there at 50 yards
That's right.
a bunch of times.
Yeah, that was the second week in a row you guys had a pick six on defense. Is that an Apollo special kind of deal now?
Oh, that was instrumental, obviously, in the victory. Keith Reeser making that pick on the outcut. And, we've had a defensive score each week. It's hard to lose when you have a defensive score. But we gave one up last week, which was discouraging. But we bounced back after that.
Yeah, you like the way the offensive line responded and gave Garrett the protection he needed after that.
It was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good most of the way. That play just beat us a little on the outside and happened to hit his hand as he was throwing. And they got the good bounce and got the score. But other than that, the protection was pretty good. Yeah, we got a good offensive line. And we give them a little help every now and then. Garrett Gilbert's a drop back passer. We're not going to sprint out all over the place and this, that, and the other. But when you drop back, obviously you utilize the whole field. So that's what he does best. And we just got to make sure we're protecting the pocket sometimes a little bit better. They can only rush 5 guys.
Yeah, and still through 2 games, Coach, that was your only turnover, right? I'm not missing one. That was it. So, I mean, protecting the ball.
Yeah, apart from the muff punt in
From
game one.
Gracie, yeah.
But right, offensively is the first turnover.
That's the only one. Only one in 3 games. Our practice game, we didn't have one either. So,
and you protect the ball, you're going to win.
Yeah, we've talked about it a bit, but the guys have been real good getting the snap, getting the tall sweep, handoffs. They've been very good, which I wish I could say we preach that all the time, but we talk about ball plays and sort of go under the assumption our guys know how to hand it off and how to carry it and all that. But our coaches do coach ball security all the time.
Elliott Fry, perfect on the season, a kicker you worked with South Carolina. What did you see in him? What did you know about him coming into this season?
Yeah, Elliott Fry is the all-time leading scorer in South Carolina history. So he's made the most extra points, field goals, and all that. And he kicked all 4 years I was there. And anyway, or 3 out of 4. I was there 3 of his 4. Let's get that straight. So anyway, Elliott makes them in the game. Sometimes in preseason or practice during the week or whatever, he might not be the most accurate. But he's 5 for 5 right now. And I've seen him make a bunch of them, crucial situations in college. He actually belonged to Birmingham, but they already had a pretty good kicker. So we traded an allocation draft or something like that, and we're able to get him here. So he's a good one, and we got to keep making those field goals.
He actually got roughed on the one, but they didn't call the penalty because there was a false start. But, boy, back it up. It didn't matter. He got lined back up, and he nailed it.
Yeah, that was an interesting play. They jumped offside or something happened, and the guy sort of cut him up, and they blowed the whistle. But
no flag.
Yeah, I tried to say, hey, you can't do that.
Can't do that. I got to protect my kicker.
Yeah, but anyway, he made the field goal right after that.
Seems like this league is a great opportunity for the kickers, too, because, NFL teams typically carry one kicker. If they mess up, they're in big trouble, and they're always looking for somebody that can get the job done.
Yeah, Amy Elliott's an example of so many players in the Alliance. He got some tryouts with the NFL. He told me he went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he said, Coach, I made every kick that day. I'm serious. I made every kick, and they didn't bring me back. They kept the other guy. And I said, well, maybe the other guy was better looking than you. I don't know what he was. But coaches, we don't know who's the best player until you get in the games. And, we're finding out, like DeErnest is starting this week.
Yeah.
He didn't start 3 weeks ago. But in the games, you start seeing this, that, and the other. And then you figure out who your best players are. So, and that's what we're going, with our receivers. We've got a whole bunch of receivers. We're figuring out who the best are now as we go through. And running backs and really all the positions, that's how you do it. And as a kicker, Elliott, when in the game's on the, field goes on the line, he's pretty good at making them.
Coach, did you see progress from week 1 to week 2? I mean, obviously week 1 was a blowout. Week 2 was one you guys have to come back from. What kind of progress did you see?
Well, there was progress in coming from behind. We didn't have to do that first game except, they did kick a field goal. So we've been behind every game at the start.
You're right.
But I don't know. I don't worry about progress except that we try to play better week after week. So this is a game we're going to try to play a lot better than we have the first 2. And I think our guys realize we're capable of doing that.
All right, we're going to have much more with the head ball coach coming up, but we've got to take a timeout. Up next, we'll take a look at the Memphis Express, who the Apollos host at Spectrum Stadium Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Get there, get to the bounce house. You're going to love what you see. You're listening to Orlando Apollos Football Weekly on Real Radio 104.1.
We now return to the Apollos Football Weekly on Real Radio 104.1.
Be sure and be in the Bounce House this Saturday night when your Orlando Apollos entertain the Memphis Express, presented by WJRR 1011, Orlando's rock station. Tickets start at only $15. Don't miss a minute of the action. For tickets, log on to orlandoapollos.com or ticketmaster.com. Welcome back to Apollos Football Weekly, your one-stop shop for all things Orlando Apollos. I'm Jamie Seh with Rene Ingoglia and Apollos head coach Steve Spurrier. We are talking about their win last week as the Apollos improved to 2-0, and we're also looking ahead to their matchup Saturday night against the Memphis Express, a team that's coming to Orlando looking for its first win on the year. And Coach, one more question about the San Antonio game. Early on, a slow start, some penalties. Is that something that you guys also emphasized in practice? The penalty situation.
Yeah, we try to emphasize don't get penalties all the time. Actually, our offensive line, those guys have been pretty good staying onside. We haven't had false starts and things like that. But we have had some defensive holding penalties and stuff like that have occurred. But overall, we talk about it, but we had 9 or 10, didn't we? And I think they had 9 or 10. Sometimes they looked like they weren't very good calls, but sometimes we get some that look like the other team didn't deserve. So I'm sort of neutral with the referees right now. I'm not mad at them. And I think they're doing the best they can. And, we had some holding penalties here or there down in the red zone that, oh, gosh, was that holding? Well, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. So you just have to sort of take it and get ready for the next down.
All right, so the Memphis Express come into Spectrum Stadium. They're 0-2. They had a hard luck loss last week against Arizona. Coach, on film, what have you seen from the Express? Yeah,
they're very good defensively. Mike Singletary, their head coach, obviously NFL Hall of Fame middle linebacker, Chicago Bears and all that. So he's got that defense playing very well. Offensively, they have struggled, but now that they're 0-2, I don't know what they've done in practice this week. They may put in a whole new offense because they've not been very good throwing the ball, but they may come out with 4 wide receivers and say, hey, we're going to throw it 40, 50 yards downfield every play. I don't know what they're going to do. Or they may put 2 tight ends and try to run the ball. So we just got to be ready for whatever they want to try to do. And we got the players capable.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned earlier, Leon Orr's back.
Great.
Leon had some back spasms last week, was not able to play, but he's had a very good week of practice. And Cousin Leon, I call him because he's an Orr and I'm an Orr. And we traced our family back. We may be related.
Really?
I'm serious. We may be related way back. So Cousin Leon is ready to go this week.
Well, you're both Gators, too, because he played for the Florida Gators. He played for Will Muschamp when Coach Muschamp was in Florida. If Memphis does throw the ball a little bit more, I mean, your secondary has been outstanding so far.
Yeah, we have played very well, I think, and need to continue playing well. Really, the only thing that hurt us last week, we did not keep the quarterback in the pocket.
Yeah.
Oh, he ran up the middle. Oh, gee, we acted like we were just rushing without containing the quarterback. So hopefully Bob Sanders, Coach Jeff Coate, the D-line coach, hey, fellas, we got to keep him in there. You can't just run up the field. Just keep him in there because we had good coverage.
Yeah.
Had pretty good coverage the entire game.
And a lot of that, Coach, is really the quarterback, understanding the personnel you're going against. Those San Antonio quarterbacks, both of them were pretty mobile and could run the ball. Christian Hackenberg, not so much, I don't think, but it'll be interesting. Talking about injuries, though, give us an update on Ryan Davis. How's Ryan Davis doing?
Yeah, Ryan had that neck injury, concussion, is more concussion as we learned later.
Which is so good.
But he's going to be out 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But he's walking around. It wasn't as severe as it appeared during the game. But our trainer, Nate Pack, and our team doctors did a super job, as you would expect, of taking all the precautions. So he's out a while, and we'll give him plenty of time to see when he comes back.
Earl Okine was involved in that hit. Obviously, he came back right into the game.
Yeah,
but how's he been in practice?
Yeah, Earl's been practicing this week, and he was banged up on that hit too. Both of them went in there 100 miles an hour trying to hit the quarterback. And like most times, the quarterback just stepped up and they hit each other.
Well, that's one of those plays you said because it happened.
Yeah.
They came outside rush beautifully, but they ended up running each other, and he took off and ran on the play as well, the quarterback.
One thing you got to learn as a defensive player, the guy may not be there when you get there. So you got to somewhat be under control when you run. Just like a wide receiver, he can't run right into the defensive guy. He's got to get a little step, get around this, that, and the other. Hopefully we learned a lot by containing the quarterback in last week's game.
Yeah, well, it's great to hear about Ryan Davis. We are obviously concerned about him. It's good to see. The Express have a running back that football fans should be familiar with, Zach Stacy. He was in the NFL for a little while, and he started at Vanderbilt. Do you remember him, Coach, from your days?
Yeah, he's a very good back. Made a lot of yards the last couple of games. So that's the first thing we got to do. They may get in 2 tight ends and say, we're going to pound these guys, so we got to be ready for that. Or they may spread out, and we got to be ready for that. But Bob Sanders and our defensive staff, I think, are really, really good coaches. Lito Shepard and Donnie Abraham coaching the secondary. So we'll be ready for them Saturday night.
Speaking of coaches, the Express led by Mike Singletary. Coach, do you know him at all? I mean, I think it's so cool that the Alliance brings in all these coaches with so much experience and big names, and Mike Singletary, obviously just a Hall of Famer from the Chicago Bears for his playing days. But do you know him at all, and what do you think about what he's done?
I think I just met him for the first time when we had a head coaches meeting up in Atlanta back in, I want to say, December sometime, early December. They had a tryout camp there, and we had some meetings with all the general managers and head coaches. So I got a chance to talk to him a little bit there. And Tim Lewis, the Birmingham coach, and met some of the guys I'd never met before. But he's a defensive guy, and their offense has been a little in disarray, I guess. They sort of dismissed one coordinator and told another guy he was calling the plays. So hopefully they're still in disarray, but who knows what's going to happen Saturday night.
We are at Sideshow Bar and Restaurant in downtown Orlando on Orange Avenue. This is Orlando Apollo's Football Weekly. Jamie, Seh, Rene Ingoglia, and the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. And Coach, I'll tell you what, we get back from the San Antonio game, and there's still so much buzz in this city in Central Florida about your football team. I'm wondering how the guys are handling the success that they've had through, early on. How's that been going?
Yeah, Jamie, as a coach, you always try to emphasize it's not as good as you think it is, or as bad sometimes as you think it is. But I told the guys today, I said, here's where we are. We can finish 2-8, or we can finish 12-0. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
And anything in between is up to us. So we got a chance to have a good year, to have a good team, or else we can fall on our face if we start screwing around and doing this, that, and the other. So I like the leadership on the team. Garrett, Charles Johnson, the receivers.
A lot of experience.
Jordan McCray, the O-line, D-line, Terrence Garvin, all those guys, Reggie Northrup, those guys. We got some good leadership over there. So I think those guys really want to have as big a year as we possibly can.
Have you noticed that buzz around Orlando, Coach, just how it's picked up really since the season opened?
Well, I hope so. I don't. I actually don't get the Orlando paper because the resident inn doesn't have it. They have USA Today and Wall Street, so I get a USA Today. But they've covered us very well. They've covered us, and of course, the big thing this week was about the pay. Guys missed a couple of days of pay. And but this new investor came in, the guy from Raleigh, and everything's fine. I know we're going to finish this year, and I know we're all going to get paid this year. So let's go try to win
and
this
speaking
thing.
of local papers, if Mike Bianchi says anything negative, Jamie will take care of that.
That's right. I'm on with Mike Bianchi every
he's
Friday
fine.
morning. But I mean, $250 million investment is a vote of confidence.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it.
Oh, it really is, and. The Alliance was set up with enough money to last this year.
Yes.
I don't computer glitch. I don't know what happened, but I think this new guy just showed up this week, and we're fine. So we don't have to worry about that.
All right, the Orlando Apollos, they're looking to go 3-0 this week. They take on the Memphis Express Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Coach, thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure to meet with you and talk football.
Okay, thank you, Jamie.
Thanks, Coach. We'll see you Saturday.
That was the head ball coach on Orlando Apollo's Football Weekly. Time is running out on the Apollo Sun and Gun Special. Since the Apollo scored 40 points in the launch game versus Atlanta, you get season tickets for the remaining 4 home games for only $40. Get them now. Join us tomorrow night against Memphis. Call us at 321 418-3766. More Orlando Apollos Football Weekly up after this on Real Radio 104.1.
All right, Coach, thank you.